Hey folks, welcome out there this afternoon. We are so glad you tuned in to TNLearn Mathline, the summer school version. I'm Ernie Roberts. I'm your host for this afternoon's session. We have had some great times this summer. You know, summer's almost halfway through, and we're already looking to remind you that in about another month, you're going to get to start calling us in again. But in the meantime, you can hit us on Facebook, you can hit us on Twitter, and above all, you can send us emails also with questions, comments, and things that you want us to work out for you. We will try to incorporate some of those throughout our summer series, okay? But it's time for a little bit of summer school action. Let's see where we're going today this afternoon, guys. What we got going? We are, oh, did you get the right change? Ooh, boy, oh, one of these sore spot with a lot of people. You know, having to get change back from your dollar or $5 or $20 or whatever you're doing in that regard, all right? So let's see what kind of situations we can get ourselves into this afternoon here on TNLearn's Mathline Summer School. Karina, one of my favorite folks here, paid a bill for $3.52. All right, so she's going to pay. Now, if she gave $4, that's what we've got going here. How much change from $4, so 4 $1 bills, should she receive? Now, some of you are out there looking at it and says, it's $1 and something. No. Look at this. Let's make some common sense about this, all right? You got $4, and you're going to have to pay me a little over 3.5, all right? So that, first of all, tells me you don't get to keep. You're not going to, in other words, you're just not going to get some extra change, which some of you will try to do. Now, that's another story with a $5 bill, but that's another problem, all right? So let's just look at this thing. With $4, you are certainly less than $1. And if you look at that, if you look at 52 cents, you're a little bit more than half a dollar you're paying out, so you're going to get less than a $0.5 back. It's less than 50 cents. Not much less. How much? Well, we're actually going to pay back in change. Looks like 48 cents. Now, just a quick look at that, because I know we get all ages here. And some of you say, well, would you use a calculator? I hope you could do this in your head, all right? Because, again, it's just a little common sense, all right? And sometimes that computer or calculator sometimes misprints, missed keys, problems happen and people, what do I do? You subtract. So let's see what happens, all right? So we got $4, and we're going to subtract $3.52 from there, all right? And again, that's the idea. No change there on the end, but we're going to see how much she's going to get back. And when you come along here, you cannot subtract 2 from 0. We know that. You can't subtract subtract 5 from 0 either. So we're going to go over here to this 4, and we're going to lop off 1, and we're going to drop it one step at a time. We're going to put 10 right there. We're going to change that 0 into a 10. All right, that's what we do when we borrow. We borrow a unit. Basically, it's like let's take $1 and we're going to put 10 dimes, okay, right there. That's what that's about. And we can subtract 10 minus 5, but we still got this little problem over here with 0 minus 2. So we go and we're going to borrow a dime and change it into, guess what, 10 pennies. That's what those are standing for. If you think about money, subtraction in your head, it's real easy. And now we've got a point here where we can say, hey, 10 minus 2, that'll give us 8. That is good. But remember, we took away a dime. We don't have 10 anymore. I slashed it. What do we got? We have 9. And when you take 9 minus the 5, you're going to get 4. Decimal, folks, comes straight down. Doesn't move around, doesn't dance anywhere. So you got 48 cents. And notice these 3's just simply cancel each other out. There's 3 minus 3 leaves you nothing. And you know what? That gives you 48 cents. I'll put a little dollar mark there just to make you all feel good. By the way, be sure you don't put 0.48 or 48 hundredths and put a C for cents. That means you basically have about a half a cent, all right? That's not the case here. This is 48 cents with the decimal and the dollar sign appropriately written, okay? So that's the answer right there. How much should she receive? 48 cents. Now, let's put a $5 bill in your hand, all right? And how much change should come back from the $5 bill? Well, this time, folks, it's not $2, all right? Some of you might try to do that, all right? But it's not $2. It's going to be less than $2. And we already know the 48 cent part is going to hold. Get one more dollar added to that 48 cents. We're going to end up with $1.48. Once again, you can do the subtraction off to the side. But some of those things, just think about in your head, all right? Again, you're going to come back with $1. Sometimes you have someone who gives you change. They try to give you $2.48 because they don't remember to borrow to get to that 5 minus 1 is not 5 minus 1 is, 5 minus, we'll get it right here in a minute. 5 minus 3 is going to give you 2, but once you borrow, it becomes a 4 minus 3, which will give you 1. So keep those thoughts in your head. I think it's good to be able to do change in your head there. And $1.48 versus 48 cents or $2.48, it makes a big difference. It makes a big, big difference. So keep those things in mind. We're going to play change today, all right? Some easy, simple things. Let's get hungry out there. It's dinner time, right? So let's see. 6 sausage biscuits will cost you $6.54, including tax, all right? That's basically like, $1 plus 9 cents tax. Just kind of telling you that, all right? That's good stuff, good stuff. So anyway, that's what those are. But let's see what's going to happen. Felicia has decided she's going to pay with a $10 bill. And again, here comes the question mark. How much change? So we're going to take the $10 and we're going to subtract $6.54. Now again, some of you can do this in your head. Some of you can do this in your head. That'd be great. But we're going to show you the good old arithmetic moment. Yes, we've got those zeros again. Yes, we need to do a little borrowing, all right? So we're going to go over here and borrow 1 off the 10, all right? We're going to borrow $1, if you will, all right? And that's going to give us 9 left behind. It's also going to make 10 dimes for us right there, all right? So we're going to think about it as 10 dimes. Again, that works well for us to say 10 minus 5, but there's a problem. There is a problem. You have a 0 and a 4 that aren't working together very well here. So we've got to borrow one of those times. Did I say times? How about dimes? From the 10, leave us with a 9. And folks, that's going to give us a 10 right over here. So everything is moving around, all right? So we're just readjusting, we're regrouping our money, all right? We took $1 again and made 10 dimes. We took one of those 10 dimes and made it into 10 pennies, so to speak here. And now we're going to subtract. 10 minus 4 catches you with a 6. We've got a 9 minus 5, which gives us 46. That's an area where some of us make a little error, all right, at times. So be careful. We're at 46 cents. Now, don't give me too much change, although I would love you for doing that, but don't give me too much. 9 minus the 6. Now we are down to 3. And folks, there is your $3.46. Now, if you could figure that part out from a $20 bill, we're just simply going to give you $10 more back in change. You're going to get a 10, all right? Plus your 3 ones and your 46 cents chump change. So if we take 20 and we subtract $6.54, once again, think about it. Let's forget about this 20 and 6 for just a minute. If that had been $1 minus 54, you would know what to do, right? You get 46 cents back. I believe most of you can do that. Now, we're going to keep that 46 right there because notice they add up to $1 when you add 54 and 46. That's kind of a way to check it mentally. Now, we did borrow, right? So it's going to be 19 here. That's becoming 9. That's becoming 10. That's becoming another 9. Boy, a lot of stuff going on. And guess what? My goodness, it's just $10 more, as I promised you. $13.46. Some of those things you can do in your head, especially that difference transforming from 10 to 20. It's just a difference of $10, which means your change is going to be a difference of a $10 bill, all right? So there again, so many times we have a perplexed look. Wow, what did you give me that 20 for? Well, that's all I had in my pocket maybe. Or what did you give that 10 for? Well, that's all I had in my pocket, but I expect you to be able to make a little change if you're working and running that cashier, and the cashier sometimes doesn't work, that cash register. You want to make sure you can do that in your head, manually, on paper, some way, somehow. Now, here's one that I put together here that really blows some people's minds, all right? This is Laurel here doing the thing for me. Laurel gave the cashier $21.45 to cover a $16.45 check. How much change comes back to her? I do this so many times because I don't want more pennies and dimes and nickels and what have you. I will give them some change. It blows some people's minds. It's just like, what do I do, Well, I made it easy for you, really. I made it very easy to make change on this, so let's do it. Let's show how it works. By the way, the answer is going to be $5, all right? Let's see what happens on that. You're going to put the $21.45 right here on top. Everybody with me? Out there, you got it? And then we're going to subtract $16.45, which was your bill, all right? Now, why did I decide to do this? Because see what happens? The change is gone. So I'm not going to worry about anything there. 45 minus 45, that's why you do smart moves like that, folks. If you don't like having change to rattle around your pockets or in your purse or what have you, all right? Now, what's left is 21 minus 16, which is even sweeter. So you say, well, why don't you put 20, 45, or one? Oh, goodness, we could get really picky here, couldn't we? But the reason is I would like 21 minus 16 is going to give me 5. So there we go. $5. $5, all right? And just give me a 5 bill back. And then someone will go, well, I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. And I'm going like, okay, whatever. But I don't have the loose change hanging out with me. But to go to that extreme, that's what you have. And maybe you have that in your pocket. Maybe you don't, all right? But it's not to drive the cashier crazy. It's simply to maybe make them have a little extra change for the next guy and have less change for me. It's kind of a nice gesture on both parts. I call it a win-win there. But just make a note, sometimes you can avoid getting major change back if you've got it in your pocket already. So there you go, little bit of common sense, I like to say. All right, let's look at this problem here involving Ray and Liam's lunch. Now, it's got going on here. It looks like oh yeah, he's paying for both meals, isn't he? All right, well, let's take a look at it. Ray's lunch cost $8.62. Well, I'm going to put that down here, $8.62. And Liam is going to pay for it. Well, that was nice of you to do that, Liam. I appreciate that. And I'm sure Ray does too. And his $12.25 bill. All right, I'm going to assume that is with tax, tips, whatever there. It doesn't say, but we're just going to go ahead and say, from this amount, we're going to use this. How much should he receive change-wise? All right, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. So first of all, we got to add these together. By the way, folks, check your bills. Not that restaurants are out to do it. They just make mistakes sometimes, all right? Check your bill. Make sure you're added correctly. Make sure you didn't get someone else's thrown in there in addition to Ray and Liam, all right? So let's, be careful out there, all right? Watch out for things like this. Let's add these together, all right? These are pretty easy to add. I see a 7 out here on the edge. 2 plus 5. Here we go. We'll add 6 and 2 there. It's going to give us 8. And once again, remember, decimals come straight down when we're adding money, all right? And now we've got nothing to carry. That's good. So we're going to have 8 and 12, which is going to give us 20. Now again, some of you see this 25 and the 20, you think, oh, it's $5 and something for change. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. In fact, it's going to be under $5 because you've got to pay a little more than 20. All right, you don't quite pay 21, but you pay a little over. So think, use those reasoning skills. Make sure the solution that we're going to come up with seems reasonable. So we got $25, probably a 20 and a 5 sounds good. And that's why you wouldn't get, let me try that again. I was thinking 20 plus 5. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Let's go with 25 there. And we're going to subtract that 20, 87, all right? And when we work with that, obviously if I had just a $20 bill, I'd be washing a few dishes to get rid of that, say, 87 cents, or they might be nice and say, take pity on me, but most cases, they want their money. They want the 87 cents because that's a tax or a tip or something important, So again, we want to make sure we're over 20 here. Now, if I put $25 to this, I already said it's definitely, because this is more than 20, I'm certainly not going to get $5 and more beyond, okay? We're not going to get that back in change. It's going to be less than $5. It's $21 would give me 4, so I know it's somewhere between $4 and $5. And it looks like it's closer to 4 than it is to 5. So again, a little estimation in your head. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know what to do with money. You've played with money all your life. This is where you make this a little more practical and make it make sense to you, all right? So let's do the subtraction game here. Can't subtract zeros and 87 there. That doesn't work for us, so we've got to do a little borrowing routine. So let's go over here and make a 24 happen. Just borrow a dollar. Borrow a dollar. And distribute it over here as 10 dimes. There goes my 10 dimes. Goodbye, 0 there. Now, yes, we could subtract 10 minus 8, but we've got to help out the 0 over here, all right? So let's take a dime, there's 9 of them, and now we have 10 pennies, all right, 10 pennies. And let's do a little subtracting. Now we can do that. 10 minus 7, that gives us 3. And on the front and the back end here, we've got 9 minus 8, which we can do. That gives us 1. So we got 13 cents coming back to him in the chump change, as I like to call it. Now, remember, this is a 4. That 5 is gone. It's now 24, and we're going to subtract 20 from that. So, my friends, that's going to give us $4.13. So this was a little bit more complex. You had to add, and then you had to come back and subtract. Now, again, I think you could have done that in your head. You could do a mental check, especially if it was written down in front of you, and you could write it fairly quickly. Also, the subtracting, I hope that you can start doing some of those in your head too, all right? Certainly you can see with 87 cents coming in, you give 13 back. Then you worry about your dollars. So hopefully some easy ways to help you dealing with subtracting, borrowing, but also making change, all right? So sometimes we see problems that are a little bit more complex. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going to happen. We've got juice boxes, so not just one, but boxes plural, selling at 3 for $5. All right, so they're going to be 3 for $5, and then they're going to give you 15 cents tax for each $5 you're spending. All right, so 45 cents in tax for each $5 you're spending. So basically, what are we doing, folks? We're basically $3.45 here. All right, each time. Now, Jay here has $21.50 in his pocket. What we want to know is, can he buy 12 juice boxes? You say, wow, I don't know. Yeah, you do. All right, first of all, we got this 3 for 5. And we've also added 45 cents, all right? 3 for 5. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you're getting 3 for 5, how much is it going to cost you for 12? That's the big question. This is kind of an estimation problem. So first of all, think about it. If you're buying 12, that means you're doing 4 times as many. So that's going to be 12, and they don't give it to you for $5, folks. No. You got to multiply that $5 by 4. So now it's going to be 12 for $20. See if I can get that in there. $20 there. Now, the question is, if each $5 is worth 45 cents of tax, you've done this 4 times, so let's multiply 4 times 45. 4 times 45. Can you do that in your head? Well, if not, just let's put it out here on the side. But that's got to be multiplied too, because that's the tax they're going to charge each time. And you know what? I'm counting $1.80. See, Ernie, how'd you do that? Well, I said 5 times 4. You know that's 20. Put that 2 over there. And count decimal places. There we go. Or just think about it. You can put 45 times 2 is 90, then double it in your head. There's lots of short ways that you can make numbers happen, folks, that do not require you to have to diddle and doodle forever, all right? So, by the way, we're going to add $1.80 here. Now, we got 20 plus $1.80. You tell me. They're not going to let him get you 30 cents credit. It's $21.80. Too high, Jay, too high. You're going to have to put something back, all right? You may have to put a lot of things back depending on what kind of price they've got per unit here. But with 3 for 5, usually that's a better deal, all right? Sometimes it's just maybe the only deal they've got. They'll split it up for you. But you do have to lose one of those juice boxes at least, all right? So again, things like this, folks, that you can estimate, it keeps you from being embarrassed in the grocery line. Of course, some of you say, well, I'll just put my credit card in there and it'll take care of it. You hope it will. I hope you aren't maxed out, all right? So really, truthfully, you need to be wise consumers. You never know. Not that people are trying to take you or anything, but you need to know. You need to be knowledgeable of what your money is able to do, where it's going, how it's working, and certainly, are you getting the right change back? Are you getting enough, or are you getting too little? All right? Let's take a look at our next one here. This is an estimation problem, and I am going to eventually call upon the grand calculator for this last thing here. But let's just start off first with a little estimating that we could do in our head, and actually we're going to look at this as a way that we could really check ourselves. But in 1999, everybody knows when you go shopping, when you go out to these department stores or convenience stores or whatever, they seem to put 99 on the edge, just like gas has 99.9, things like that. Why don't you just go ahead and tell me it's $2, all right, or $3 or whatever the gas price is going for. But the same thing here. This is basically, psychologically to us, it sounds like we're paying $19.99. You're really paying $20, people. You're really paying $20. But we're going to estimate with 20. We're going to just round up a penny, and we're going to say 20 times 3. So we're just going to list our stuff here. So we're going to pick up, first of all, $20 per shirt, 3 shirts, all right? At $19.99 each, all right? 4 pairs of socks at $5.99, and these are all supposed to be saying each. Sorry about that we did not come through with that with you. This meant to do that. How about it? Let's make that $6, and we'll multiply that times 4, all right? So we get an idea where we're going. And how about 2 pairs of shoes? We'll go $80 on those. They usually are a little more pricey, times 2, all right? So first of all, we're going to see roughly where is our bill, all right? Where's our bill? So, so we're going to have $60. I'm sorry, a little fun going on here in the studio today. And we got 6 times 4, which equals to 24. And how about it, 80 times 2? We're going to get 160. And so roughly it looks like we're paying out for our bill here. Let's just check and see. We certainly can add 4, 0, and 0 together. I hope so out there today. We got a 4. And we have 14 going on here as best I can see. 6 and 2 is 8. Add 6 more. We're going to get 14. Send a 1 up there. I'm getting about $244, which take a sigh and a deep breath, all right? Now, if I want to estimate, and I'm going to here, since I'm saying let's estimate the cost, I'm going to bump it up to 10%. I'm going to bump it up to 10%, all right? I know it's going to be a little bit under that, and also these are going to lose a few pennies, all right? So, but I'm going to get pretty close. And then we'll see what it actually is with 9.5. All right, let's see. Yep, 244, that's what we got, right? 60, 24 is 84. Add it to 160, everybody. We got $244 going our way here, all right? So let's take the 244, and you know what we can do? Let's say at 10%. We're going to estimate. We're going to estimate, all right? And take 10% of $244. Now, friends, the decimal's right here. The decimal's right there at the end of the 4. If we move 10%, we're going to move that decimal in one place because we're going to be multiplying by 1/10, all right? Which basically means let's shift the decimal into $24.40. So our tax is not going to quite be there. Remember I said we're overestimating, but this will get you pretty close. So we're going to take that, we're going to add the 244. See if I'm still, yeah, there we go. Add those together. Remember, we line up the decimals. And let's see how much we've got. We got $268.40, roughly. Now remember, we overestimated. It's always good if you're trying to figure out, do I have enough money to cover this, all right? Now, we'll go to the trusty calculator here and see what that actually would be if we'd use 9.5. And you'll notice it's not that far off, all right? So let's take our 244 and multiply it by 9.5%, which is 9, as we like to call it, 0.5 or 9 5/10. And we'll multiply, and let's see, you know what? We need to make that into a decimal, right? So I tell you what, let's go ahead and multiply it. We'll divide by 100 and take care of that. So we get that, and let's actually go ahead and, like I said, divide it by 100, which means shift the decimal place 2 places, but some of you like to calculate. I know. There we go. Be sure you count off there, all right? Another way we could have dealt with that, while I've got it here, is just simply have gone with 244 and go ahead and change that percent to a decimal, which would give us a decimal and a 0 separating the 95. So we multiply it times decimal point 95 thousandths. There we go. Let's see where that gives us. Still gives us $23.18. All right, so now you're thinking a little bit closer to where your actual bill is going to be. So instead of the $24.40, we used $23.18, which saved us about $1 and such. And then remember, we're going to lose a few more pennies off the final bill. But that's a nice way to be able to check that things have gone right on your billing there. Estimation is very powerful. It's very powerful, especially with those 99s, 89s, or things like that. just bump it up. Just bump it up a little bit. And zeros on the end are so much easier to figure out in our heads, and we know we'll be in the ballpark. We'll be in the ballpark. That's the whole idea of estimation. Exactly, precisely, pretty close, all right? So, thank you for tuning in today, my friends out there. I hope you have had a great summer so far. We're going to be around a few more weeks, like I said, with Mathline Summer School. We love to see you check us out on Facebook. They're at TNLearn. And also, we love to hear you send us emails. We love to hear you call, but we're going to get to do that in another month or so, all right? So be patient, be patient. But there's our Facebook address, www.facebook.com/TNLearn. And of course, what I love to read is email at mathline@tnlearn.org, all right? So don't fail to give us those information, those tidbits. Check with us. We like to know that you're doing all right during the summer. And we hope that this lesson maybe helped you get a little bit of your change in order and able to estimate prices and things that you're going to have to pay out there. We always care about our money. Hey, thanks again for tuning in today. Looking forward to seeing all of you guys tomorrow, or at least hearing from you. Take care. See you then, and be with us.